What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. So, I got something for y'all I want y'all to hear. Now, Tyson Fury, as we know, is a master manipulator of mind games. He fools a lot of people, but then some of us he can't fool. I want you guys to hear all of this word salad that he uses to try to make himself look different from the way we see him and to try to make him, basically try to change the scenarios of what really actually happened and how his opinions, he uses it to make everything he says seem like it's so factual. But at the same time, if you remember the things that were going on, like, no, that's not true. Just take a listen to this. It's about 5 minutes long.
You like him? Bigger fool him. Eddie Hearn. He is a proper southern wanker. I don't know if you can say that on your show. Can you say that? Yeah? Yeah. He is, actually.
So he's talking
I
about
interviewed AJ about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he had this to say about the fight.
It's not me, it's the other side that are letting this down. We had the deal in place, we were the ones who found the venue, we were the ones who took the offer to them, and they bailed out on not only me, but the boxing world. I'll smoke that guy. I will. It's annoying.
AJ couldn't smoke a cigarette, never mind smoke the Gypsy King. He hasn't got the minerals to fight a man like me. I said to Eddie Hearn straight, so the difference in me and him is he's a businessman and I'm a Spartan. And I'll show him that when I get in the ring. I will absolutely annihilate that bodybuilder. He won't go past 6 rounds. He'll be over quickly. And he knows that and his full team know it. And that's why Eddie Hearn's been staring around me for the last 10 years.
Has Eddie Hearn ever tried to sign you?
He has. He had the opportunity to do it. I believe he said in one of his interviews it was the biggest regret of his life they didn't sign the Gypsy King up. So,
Do you like him?
bigger fool him. Eddie Hearn, he is a proper southern wanker. I don't know if you can say that on your show. Can you say that? Yeah? Yeah. He is, actually. I love to terrorise Eddie because he loves to talk shit about people that he's got nothing to do with. All Eddie Hearn's ever done is talk rubbish about me because he knows it gets him hits and viewing figures on interviews. Because at the end of the day, what's he ever achieved in his life? He's never been a boxer. He goes around like he's a world heavyweight champion, but he ain't. He's just a businessman, and that's what it is. There's plenty of them out there, but there's only one real world heavyweight champion, and that's me.
There's one more clip from Anthony Joshua. Just have a look at this one.
Yeah.
Do you respect him as a boxer? Do you respect him as a man?
I don't know.
You don't know if you respect him as a boxer or a man?
I like Vladimir Klitschko, he's cool.
So you don't respect him as a man?
I don't know, I don't really look at anyone in my industry like that. There's people I want to just fight.
Do you respect him?
I respect any boxer that gets in the ring. I respect him not only because of a boxing side of things. I respect him because he's come from a very rough council estate. He was a drug dealer and all that sort of stuff in his early life. And he's changed it all around, changed his whole stars to become a champion, earn tons of money, become an ambassador for the game, changed his full family's life and the way that they were going to go. And he could have went down and probably in jail now or something. I don't know what he was into. But I see interviews that he says, oh, I'm his worst enemy and he hates me. But I've never met the guy. I've met him a couple of times, but I never had no personal stuff, so he doesn't know if he hates me or not. I think he loves me really, but pretends he hates me. He used to be a fanboy of mine, years ago when I was a champion and he was a nobody. Proper. He used to follow me on Instagram and Twitter and all that. Then when he became a boxer, he always become this big famous guy that in his own mind is a superstar, movie star. And all of a sudden he unfollowed me and then now I'm his worst enemy because I've been there and I've done everything that he hasn't done, but he'd love to do. He's been filtered, media trained, he's had all this big team around him, a 20-man entourage. He has to turn up mob-handed somewhere, and he can still only be voted the 7th most popular sportsman in the country, behind Andy Murray. So that says a lot for him. And it's like me, big old fat guy, bald, hairy, ugly, from Morecambe, gets all the love of the people, mobbed wherever I go. I come here on my own. I don't have no security people around me. I don't need to be held away from my fans who've supported me and made me the star I am. I don't need to change. For him, he's had to change his image. So I'd almost call that a fake character. he plays this, he's so humble and such a nice person and all that, but I do truly believe that that's a mirage, smoke and mirrors job, well done by his team. And when he's let off and he does his own things, sometimes he comes out of his shell and shows the real him, and he gets in big bother for it.
You should have a night out together after the fight.
I'd love to, but he couldn't come out with me, could he? He'd be in my shadow because of the personality. It'd be like, he doesn't say 2 words, acts a tough guy, tensing his muscles in the corner drinking orange juice, and I've had 6 pints of beer breakdancing on the dance floor, going for it. So yeah, it wouldn't be a good night out for him. Really.
But the fight needs to happen for you both.
The fight, I've never been optimistic about this fight happening. And even when we said it was going to happen in Saudi Arabia and the deal was done, I still wasn't optimistic about it. And guess what? It never happened. I do think sooner or later it has to happen. Even if we have to go AWOL completely and throw all the belts in the bin for whatever reasons and then just fight each other, I'd do that if that makes sense. But I'm not sure if he would be willing to do it.
All right, I want y'all to pay attention to something, okay? I'm not going to keep going back in the video. You can actually rewind this one and watch it to listen to what he's saying if you forget the things he said. Okay, one, now, he said, what is Eddie Hearn, what has he ever accomplished in his life, right? He's not, he goes around like he's the world champion. He's nothing but a businessman. Well, you need the businessman to do the business, or otherwise you have no fights, okay, being put together, okay? And Eddie Hearn, yeah, he's a promoter. He talks, he sells fights, and basically he's out in the public eye, as he should be. Now, as far as shit talking concerned, Tyson Fury cannot complain about anybody talking shit. Who talks more shit than Tyson Fury? Okay? But basically, you don't hear him say the same things about Frank Warren or Bob Arum, which I'm pretty sure if Tyson Fury was signed to Eddie Hearn, he'd be saying the same things about those guys. Okay? So, to even say that is like, okay. I don't know these guys personally, and it's funny when he's saying all of these things because pretty much we always have video to go back and watch to see that how people can lie. Now, too, he said Anthony Joshua, before I even say that, you notice how long he talked about Anthony Joshua? Off of one question. He said Anthony Joshua is fake, right? And he pretends to be this humble, nice guy and all. And I believe that. He said, I believe it's just an image or mirage or whatever. Okay, listen at the question. He basically, first off, he said, it's not my end holding the fight up. We all know Eddie Hearn himself spoke, and he said, we're doing everything. Tyson Fury, out of his own mouth, and Frank Warren said, well, we're going to leave it up to them to do what they have to do. Right? He said out of his own mouth, he's letting them do what they have to do to see what they can do because I'm not fighting anybody unless they come up with a ton of money and all. And we basically said, so wait. So you want 50-50, but along with your 50-50, they leaving everything up to AJ and Hearn to find a venue and do all of these things. We already know that that's a fact. So how can Tyson Fury deny any of it? He can't. There's no way he can. He knows that we know that this was out. And then basically, remember, Eddie Hearn said he asked Fury, do you want the fight? Like, because basically he showed no enthusiasm. He just sat here and said he was not optimistic about the fight. Listen, Tyson Fury showed no interest in that fight with Anthony Joshua. Not at one point did he show any interest. He always talked about everything. And if you notice with Tyson Fury, it's always he wants to fight somebody. That's the only thing he ever emphasizes and makes known, that I want to fight somebody. I want to fight. I just want to fight. I don't care who, somebody. But it's like the person trying to get the fight with him, he's overlooking the fact that, yeah, you have a potential opponent. Why are you acting like, Anthony Joshua doesn't want to fight you? Why are you acting like Dillian White doesn't want to fight you? Why are you, all of these things that there's always something around him where things that's supposed to happen just don't happen. So we know that is a fact, that they were doing all the work, and we know that he sat back and showed no enthusiasm, just to end up, oh, we got great news, the fight is going to happen. We just got the letter and all that, just to turn around to announce no fight. That, Tyson Fury, it would be Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder because Deontay's won arbitration. We all know the details of that. He says he doesn't care about money, yet he wants an 80-20 split. He says he doesn't care about the titles. Well, he didn't have to. He could have vacated and gave what's his name, gave up his belt to fight for undisputed, or he could have just paid Wilder. We remember the details that was there. Nobody made him fight Wilder. What I'm saying is there's choices he could have made other than the ones he did. And basically, he says he'll smoke AJ, right? He'll beat him, call him a bodybuilder and all. AJ said he'll smoke him. Look, Tyson Fury liked to say things and act like we don't remember what was said and what was going on at the time of these happenings, right? But look at all the things he said. That man asked him a simple question. When he asked AJ, do you like Fury? He said he don't know. But he told him. He said it's annoying. So I'll smoke that guy. Right? It's annoying. They walked away from, not only did he turn his back on us, left us hanging, but he left the fans hanging. Yeah, that's what he did. He could have been so honest and just said, look, because of arbitration, I don't want to try to commit to this fight because it may be a situation where I end up having to fight Wilder again. Which is something, for whatever reason, he never wanted to actually address and say. I'm not giving that bum anything, yada, yada. He always he talks and deviates away from what the actual subject is, try to be a comedian and showman. Then he had the nerve to say, Anthony Joshua was, what the term did he use? Like, he's been like he was saying he's manufactured, rather, and he taught, media trained and all this. And bro, you actually participated in the WWE. You're parading around there fighting against Braun Strowman like this is real fighting or something. Who's been more manufactured than you? Media trained. You're a clown. You get in front of the camera. You're saying he's being fake and all. Look, I don't know him personally to say how he is, but we all have different sides of us. Okay, for example, y'all never saw me curse nobody out. You don't think I have or will? Y'all never seen me knock anybody out. You don't think I have or will? That doesn't mean because you're in front of a camera that you should just say the first thing come to mind or what. No. At the end of the day, man, one of the things that I see with Tyson Fury is he loves to manipulate your mind by saying things in a way where it has nothing to do with you asking him, but to try to leave a question of, damn, is he telling the truth? Is he serious? He basically never showed interest in that fight. Look at his enthusiasm when he fought Otto Wallin and the other guy, whatever his name was. I forget his name. But look at how enthused he was and how giving all these guys props and like they're such good fighters. But then once he gets face to face, you're a bum, yada, yada, yada. Okay, then why'd you choose him if he's a bum? Right? Oh, but he says that about everybody. He said AJ's no champion. It's only one champion, and that's me. But then he says he respects him because he was a drug dealer, all this stuff that in the negative light in the beginning. He turned his life around and became a champion. You just said he's no champion. You called him a bodybuilder and all that kind of stuff. You see the word salad. This guy contradicts himself every time he says something. Like I said, nobody's taking credit away from his ability in the ring. But Tyson Fury's full of shit. If you listen to him talk, it's like, I don't see how y'all don't catch it. I listen to this guy talk and I'm like, Fury, you can fight in the ring. We give you your props for that. But you're full of shit, bro. You say a lot of bullshit and a lot of dumb shit that makes no sense. And see people who sit there and eat it up will probably sit with popcorn, smiling like the guy interviewing them, laughing all over the table. And this the same guy, when he showed the clip of AJ, he's showing it to Fury, right? But it's the same guy that interviewed Fury. That interviewed AJ that was interviewing Fury. He was letting him see the clip of when he interviewed him. He didn't pretend he liked you. He asked, did he like? He said he don't know. Do you like him as a person? He said, I don't know. He said, I like Vladimir Klitschko. He's cool. So it was a way of being sarcastic to say, really, I don't really like the guy. And really, most of that, it all started when Fury pretended he was going to fight AJ. That's when this all started. All before that, any other time. Whenever Fury fought, like when he fought Wilder and all that, look at all the verbal abuse that the both of them tried to give AJ. How they try to tarnish his image, and then he always referred to them as gladiators and good fight, and he'll always give credit to his enemies. Which I always said, I don't know how he does that shit, because I wouldn't. I would have to definitely just, nah. You know, if I don't, you don't have to get in your bag about your feelings about somebody. You're just answering the question. He just clearly said he don't know how he feels about him. But at the end of the day, this is all after Fury did what he did with the whole Saudi situation, okay? And we know that. Other than that, you never heard AJ trying to knock him or say anything. Then he said he was a fanboy. Then he become this boxer. And in his mind, thinks he's a superstar. No, he is. And he is the cash cow in the heavyweight division. Now, you talking about this immense popularity that you think you have fighting because you came to America and fought Wilder and you was all this other shit, WWE fake fighting shit that you did. Reality is, whether you guys like each other or not, the fight should happen. And when the guy asked that question, you see, Fury loves to try to make it seem like it's not him. It's not his fault. Well, whose fault was it, Fury? Whose fault was it? You're the one who went and ran to go to go and fight Wilder and doing this WWE shit, and then AJ was willing. He was trying to get Usyk to step aside so the two of you could go at it. Then you said he's jealous of him because he's done everything that he wanted to do. The only thing that you did that AJ didn't do was fight Wilder, which he was trying to do, and we already know why that fight didn't. We already know who screwed that up. And he's never did any WWE stuff. Other than that, what did you do? You both beat Klitschko. What did you do? I mean, he defended his title. You only defended it one time. Two-time unified champion. What? He makes more money than you. He has a better resume than you. So when you're saying you've done everything that he hasn't done, what are you talking about? See, this is the difference when you're being interviewed and somebody can make a comment and the interviewer doesn't say, because I would have said, well, like, what did you accomplish that he didn't? I would have asked that question. And of course, Fury would have tried to dance away from it, and I'd have got, no, specify. What did you accomplish, since you said he's jealous of you? What did you accomplish that he didn't? He's a two-time unified champion. You had the title once you fought Klitschko. You disappeared for 3 years. You understand what I'm saying? And the thing is, it's reverse, because everything that he's done, AJ did it in a much shorter time. Now, leading up to this fight with Usyk 2, I'm going to say this about AJ. We've seen AJ against Pulev. We've seen him against Povetkin, White. We've seen, okay, Anthony Joshua had a problem with Andy Ruiz's hand speed and his ability to throw fast, sharp punches on the inside. He adjusted in the rematch. Outboxed him, shut him out. He had problems adjusting to what Usyk was doing, finding the range, getting in the rhythm, being able to, fight the way a better strategy. Okay, let's just put it like that. I don't think Anthony Joshua would have the same problem with Fury or guys that stand right in front of you. Okay, Fury, he does a lot of feints. He'll jab and jab right hand. It's easy to telegraph this shit coming from Fury. Okay? Let's not get so high up on Fury to the point we're overlooking. He did all this shit that he did against Wilder and even got dropped twice. When he got dropped, 4 times altogether, when he got dropped, it was because he was being careless. It wasn't nothing Wilder did special. Wilder caught him slipping both times. Bang. Bang. Went down. Okay? Fury makes a lot of mistakes in the ring, too, that people don't point out. Whether Fury wins or loses against Anthony Joshua, if the fight ever happens, it's not the same thing. He is not Usyk. People seem to think that he'll beat Usyk, and it's like, okay, I'm not here to debate about who will win. We'll see if these fights happen. We'll see. But it's a different fight. They sparred before, and like Fury said, AJ put it on him, right? So he says he never met the guy, or I only met him a few times. And I said, no, you guys are not friends, right? But let's, then he talks about AJ hates me because AJ never once in any interview said he hates Fury. Then he hates me because he's jealous and all this. He unfriended me. He blocked me he used to follow me on Twitter and all this stuff. Listen, he went on and on and on ranting about Anthony Joshua from a simple question of, he asked him, does he like him? Same question he asked AJ on their interview, he asked Fury. And Fury went on and on and on about AJ. So pretty much the one pointing the finger is the one doing, they're guilty of their own words. I just wanted to point out how he uses words to manipulate people right in front of their faces. And they're interviewing, and these are guys that they're cool. So they're not asking the questions that somebody who's not friends with them would ask. I would be asking a lot different. Well, me personally, I'm not into all that kind of trying to interview the fighters and chasing them around and do that bullshit. Let other people do that. Because they couldn't talk to me the way they talk to these other interviewers. And, I don't want to look unprofessional. Like Aries on there beating up fighters for talking shit to him. Damn right. Couldn't talk to me that way. But anyway, at the end of the day, the whole thing is like I said, man, he loves to manipulate people. He'll tell you something, and like, do we not remember what was going on, what was happening with the negotiations and everything? You were the holdup, not Anthony Joshua, not Eddie Hearn. And you look in those videos that I made about it, and we all was saying, like, these guys are sitting back letting Team AJ do everything. So now, because of the fight AJ had with Usyk, and he came up short in that fight, yeah, I pointed out the things that I seen him do wrong, and just the way the fight went itself. Yeah, we talked about it. But again, it's not the same with Fury. Fury's using his weight and size against guys. Well, he did it against Wilder. Let's rephrase it. He did it against Wilder. Okay? I don't think that same strategy would work with AJ. And Fury's not the same. Fury can't do that elusive moving like he used to do and all of that. It's a different fight. It's a different fight. And I'm telling you guys, you can say what you want, but should Usyk get past AJ again, don't be surprised if Usyk beats Fury. I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be surprised if he beats AJ again. I also wouldn't be surprised if AJ beats Usyk. It depends on the work that you put in. We're not there to see what happens, the progression every day, to see what these fighters are doing. But at the end of the day, man, see, this is the cool thing about not being a fan, okay, and just respecting people for what they do. Because I can point out bullshit as well as I can point out the good things that people do, and I don't feel no kind of way about it. Whereas fans, boys, they'll sit up and make excuses. Not necessarily fans. I would never call myself anybody's fan, because I'm not. But fanboys definitely do not have it in them, to be fair. That's why we call them fanboys, because who they cheer for can do no wrong. They'll overlook everything that fighter does and make an excuse for everything that they do. Look at it like a relationship going back. Man and woman meet each other, they talk about each other like they're the best thing that ever happened. And then sometimes all it takes is one misunderstanding, and all of a sudden one of them or both of them are naming a million things that the other one does that they hate and don't like. Where did all this come from? Are you saying this out of retaliation? Or are you saying this because you really feel this? Because if so, then you're not being real. So again, he asked him a simple question and he goes on. The video is like 5 minutes long. Look at how much of that video of him talking about AJ in a negative light from a question he was asked. So him talking about jealousy and all these things pointed at AJ just answered direct questions. And when I saw the interview that AJ did, he spoke directly about what happened in the situation, not his personal opinions on what he thinks Fury is, if Fury's not this, and Fury's jealous of me. Fury did that. And I'm just trying to bring it to you guys' attention how to spot bullshit. And you can see now, Fury, everything you're saying, you're guilty of. That's the reality. Fury can fight. I respect his fighting ability. But at the same time, Fury's full of shit, like I said. And if you listen to everything he just said, if you forgot, like I said, when this video done, run it back and listen to everything he said, and then in your mind, remember what was going on. And you, yeah, Fury's full of shit. Yeah. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch you on the next video.